Helen Buckingham Mathews was a British writer writing under the pseudonym of Helen Mathews. Born in 1853 in Misterton, Somerset, the daughter of farmer and manufacturer Thomas Mathews. She was educated at a boarding school at Chantry and was afflicted with deafness early in life, which supposedly interfered with her desire to work as a governess. In 1875 she published her first novel, Coming Through the Rye, which would remain her biggest success. In 1877 she married Dr. Henry Albert Reeves, a noted surgeon. In 1881 she founded The Burlington, a high-class monthly magazine, of which she was the editor and which, among others, published poetry from Oscar Wilde. The magazine would only last a year and has no relation to the Burlington magazine founded in 1903. The magazine's collapse left Mathews with considerable debt. In 1891 she took part in the collaborative novel The Fate of Fenella, which was published in the Gentlewoman magazine. The project included such authors as Arthur Conan Doyle, Florence Marryat and Bram Stoker, Mathews writing the first chapter titled Fenella. She wrote voluminously, sometimes publishing 3 novels a year, but otherwise her life was uneventful. She died in London in 1920. The Juggler and the Soul was published in 1896. The story begins with the protagonist and narrator, Saul Sabine, hard at work in his laboratory giving life back to a corpse with the help of a mute black servant and his idiot assistant. Sabine decides not to publish his discovery, however, fearing dire consequences if it fell into the wrong hands. In the beginning, Sabine is living in his house with his black assistant nicknamed Silence, his nephew Arthur and his housekeeper Mrs. Shackle. Imposing himself on the household is a certain Jasper, Arthur's best friend, whom Arthur follows around like a dog, both being adamant about how women do not at all concern them. Then suddenly Sabine's dying friend pawns off his daughter Ninga on them, and how soon things change. Ninga, for her part, is glad to have been transplanted to Saul Sabine's household due to the fact that her father had always hated her because her mother had died in childbirth. Both Arthur and Jasper take to her at once, though she seems more interested in Sabine. A quarrel develops between Arthur and Jasper, and just then Ninga's dying father demands Sabine send her back to him. Ninga desperately doesn't want to, and so Arthur asks her to marry him. She agrees, but is still very much preferring Sabine. At this point in the story, the female author delivers a bewildering tirade, saying that women should just sit around and let men strive for them, and, even more bewilderingly, she has the main female lead state that all female authors are only able to plagiarize the work of male writers, who are the only ones who can really write and come up with new ideas. I have no idea where this came from, nor how a professional female writer of some 20 years would come to this conclusion. The bulk of the novel is essentially the romantic, whatever you would describe the above shape as. But then there is a scrape between Arthur and Jasper, and Sabine has to use his discovery to kill the one to save the other. However, Arthur begins to act more and more like Jasper upon his recovery, to the endless dismay of Ninga and of Sabine, resulting in a personality swap story that only really tends towards the traditional Jekyll and Hyde formula towards the very end. The writing isn't bad, and the Mad Doctor stuff is very intriguing. It's only that Mathews shoves it into the background for the majority of the novel, while also acting as if the fact Sabine saved Arthur's life using his life exchange method is some sort of secret when it's telegraphed very blatantly all throughout.